Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Radio Geonosis, where we talk about Star Wars from a certain point of view. This week, we're going to be doing our potpourri show, where we talk about all the different things of Star Wars. And because we're celebrating May the 4th be with you, and also Geek Pride on the 25th.
Woo! Geek Pride, Geek Pride.
So I'm Angie.
I'm David.
I'm Aaron. What's up, guys?
She did the list thing, so I did it too.
So David's going to tell us some hot happenings, but before he does that, I'm going to tell you my hot happening. So on the 3rd of May, I was able to do a troupe at Disneyland where we did the Star Wars After Dark at Disneyland. We got to do the parade.
Great job, Angie. Great job. Great
That
job.
was a lot of fun. And I get to go back on the 9th and do it again.
Yes.
It was a sold-out event. It was great. So many people are now excited about Star Wars on May 4th. Mm-hmm. And also, it's starting up now where you have Revenge of the 5th. You have events for both days.
Yeah.
Now, the Rebel Legion actually had 21 events going on. People had asked them. We had a troupe we had a show, as a matter of fact, for Saber Guild on the 5th at a school. So that was a lot of fun to do. But I mean, a lot of people that were not really into Star Wars are now getting into it because this holiday is really, really stepping up. Where you have, even at the airport, someone posted a thing where they had different planets and things for departures.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That was pretty cool.
So I thought it was
and
really
like
cool.
different reasons for like why certain planets were delayed or whatever.
Exactly.
That was cool. I like that.
But how did you enjoy the third over at Disneyland? What was the energy like?
It was high.
It was
really
high. From the video you sent me, it looked pretty. It looked high. It looked.
And that was at midnight. We did that at midnight, so it was
wow.
going into the 4th. They had fireworks shows.
Mm-hmm.
They had pictures. You can take pictures with different characters and stuff. They had the rides open for people. And then at midnight, we came out. And so it was so much fun. I really had a blast.
We have to be probably the most legit Star Wars podcast because we actually have a representative at Disneyland doing their thing.
Yeah.
She needs to
awesome.
like hit up Lucasfilm with like, hey, I'm part of Saber Guild. We should be the official Lucasfilm Star Wars.
No,
podcast.
I think there's like we have to get in line with quite a few other shows. So
What? I mean,
Yeah, the only difference between us and them is I'm willing to do anything to become famous. So I mean,
I'm already there.
Have you ever auditioned for a Star Wars movie? Anyone of you guys?
No. They've had us. We've had a couple of things where they needed extras, so you can go. And some of them were for fan stuff and for like fan movies, and then others were. I think they've had a couple of them where you can go down and audition.
I almost went for.
So I don't know.
It was either Rogue One or Episode 8. They were doing like walk-ins, and not for like a big role. It's just like we just need like 20 people to stand behind you guys. Like So, and I almost did that, but I
you
didn't
could
have a
be
ride
like
down
on
there.
a planet.
I'm gonna do it
just
one day
walking
because I mean they're
around.
gonna be turning out Star Wars movies like bunnies
crazy,
making
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
So one day
Especially
I'm
these
gonna
next
go
few
do
years.
it just to do it. But.
Yeah, and I mean Solo is coming fast. It's coming fast.
Solo is coming fast. It's on its way. Are you guys excited?
Yes.
I saw another trailer at Avengers, and I think it was either just the exact same thing as the last one they released, or that plus a tiny bit more. But either way, on the big screen, I was like, okay, I'm really interested to see this now. I think especially because the scale was different watching it on a movie screen.
Yeah.
To where like some of those scenes with the Millennium Falcon going through the
It's way better.
it's
on
like
it's
wow,
way better on the movie
I have a
screen.
sense of placement, and so I'm really interested in waiting to see that. But this is like the busiest time of the year for movies because like Deadpool in 11 days.
I mean, so it's a week. Like they're just a week apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like Deadpool, then Solo, then there was something coming out. Oh yeah, Jurassic World comes out in June. Then
Oh
right
my
after that,
God.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's gonna-
I mean everything.
There's a
And
lot
Luke
of dates
Cage
coming
comes out on June 22nd.
But
Oh, they
what-
released Luke Cage trailer today too.
Yeah,
a
they
new one.
did. Yeah.
But what does that tell you? That tells you that the geek culture is really, really building. A lot of people coming out of the closet, excited about this. Like like someone put up a meme about, oh, you're now celebrating May the 4th be with you, and the meme was, I've been in this since I was 6 years old. So, some people have been, they have been involved in this a long time, and others are just getting into it. And I mean, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I think it's fun that so many people now are excited about.
A geek world is a better world. We could
Oh,
all.
yeah,
We could all
I-
admit. I mean,
It's funny. Though, I don't
agree
want to
with
be
you.
the hipster of the group, but I remember back like.
You are the hipster.
the
of the group.
hipster of the
Oh
group.
God, no! Don't judge me, audience, but I will slay hipsters left and right. But
You know what? People, even though they may not have, like they may be hipsters or whatever, but as kids, they watched Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I
Because a
remember
lot of
back
times-
when I would like, because Facebook has that memory thing, right? Like every day you wake up and it's like, oh, look what you did like years
Some odd
ago.
years ago.
Like
Good
it's the
Lord.
perpetual embarrassing Facebook app. And I remember like
don't
every
have
year
any
May
of
the
those.
every year at May the 4th, like this year I had one that was like 12 plus years maybe old. Like, and it's funny watching that. And that's why I said the hipster thing, because I've been celebrating May the 4th like ever. Probably not since it's been first 100% around in like those really niche groups around the country. But I mean, it wasn't until maybe 3, 4, or 5 years ago that it became like a worldwide phenomenon. It's
Yeah.
like, wow, I look really nerdy back in the day celebrating May the 4th. And then because it becomes funny, it's like you'll see 10, 12 years ago on my thing, like, oh, there's one May the 4th post. And then like one, and like 4 or 5 years ago, there's like 50 from everybody, including me on my memory. It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So you
how-
could
that's
tell
how it
it's really a new thing. And I'm glad that I was kind of like in on it in the ground floor. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think it's great. I mean, I've always loved the movies. I've always loved the geek culture, but like I hid in the closet for a long time. You
Yeah.
know? So I mean, we talked about in our first show, I
Mm-hmm.
hid in the closet because it wasn't something that was widely accepted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So some people have always been brave and always been out there.
Yeah.
Me, I wasn't that brave.
I had a conversation at WonderCon with someone about that. I was like, I'm kind of just getting immersed in all this. And it's not even just, like, it's been years, but I mean, compared to everyone else, I'm still, like, kind of a rook. I'm still
baby in
kind of
the
noob.
group.
Yeah, I'm definitely a novice compared to everyone else. So they were just like, yeah, just let your hair down and accept it. Let
Yeah.
it blow in the
Let
wind.
it
You know what I
happen.
mean? Let it happen. So, So, I mean, big time.
And I think
I
a lot
can't
of
let
people
my
are
hair blow in
excited
the wind
about
anymore.
that.
Not anymore, right?
No, but I think a lot of people are excited about that,
Yeah.
where they like that. And I mean, you're seeing it in all kinds of sports, even
Mm-hmm.
in motorcycle sports, in football, in baseball.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, well, during the NBA playoffs, it's the NBA playoffs right now, and a lot of NBA players are getting like their shoes customized with Star Wars stuff, Dragon Ball Z
Really?
stuff, Marvel stuff.
Oh, yeah,
They
I
had
saw some
a
of those
lot of
That's
designs,
a lot of
exciting.
basketball, and a lot of the younger basketball players, the
Yes.
millennial age basketball players, are getting that stuff on their shoes, drawn onto the shoe. I saw like some Majin Buu shoes. I saw a Chewbacca Nike just the other day in
Wow.
the 76ers Boston Celtics game. Like, so it's definitely spread.
It's
like,
out.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to check them out, I think it's Slam Kicks on Instagram.
Yeah.
You could check them out. You
I
can
was
check
looking.
all
I
the
was looking
crazy
at them
shoes
on
out.
Twitter or something.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Some of the designs you're right.
So
Holy
yeah, so even
I wanted to
even
buy
the NBA,
some.
even the jocks, you would even say
Yeah.
they have their inner, what it is.
Inner
that they-
geek.
Inner geek. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. That's good. That's good. That's how
Yeah.
you know it's summertime is geek time, because the blockbusters are coming out, and all the blockbusters are geek friendly.
It's
You know,
funny. All the
they're aimed
blockbusters.
towards.
What
And
is a
that's-
blockbuster now? Is all nerd or comic
Exactly.
movies.
Yes.
It's
Exactly.
funny, like,
That's it. Every director, every
like there's no more Titanics or Schindler's List blockbusters.
Exactly. Those
Yeah.
movies are just dollar theater movies now. Like,
Yeah.
now when it's a superhero movie
Or
or
go right to
a super
right to
action,
VHS.
yeah, exactly that, or right on your Amazon Prime. So
Yeah.
it's like it's the geek. It's just warped. The world is just warped, and
And
just,
people want more and more
Yes.
and more of it, even
because
though they
there's so
say
much
it's,
of it.
right, and they're saying, "Oh, it's oversaturated." But really, for those who have never really seen it, I ran into a friend yesterday. He was at the Renaissance Fair, and so him and his girlfriend, they're going through all of the different Marvel superheroes before they see the Avengers. They're going in chronological order because
okay.
they want to know.
No, yeah, what's going
people
on.
are thirsty for this.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
just think it's wonderful that people are.
Yeah,
You
I'm
know,
all for it.
yeah.
I'm all for just the geek culture just in the forefront now.
And everybody loves it. They feel comfortable there. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like you have to fit in like jocks or, preppies or even that
Yeah,
goes back
it's
a long
very
time.
much so accepted now than
Yeah.
probably it was. I don't know when exactly, but years ago, I guess. What I mean, I'm assuming when you, I could, like, I remember my dad telling me, like, he went to Washington High School in LA, and when he saw Star Wars, he played football, and he got like a headband, and he drew like a character on there or something like that, and his teammates were like, "What are you doing watching that? What are you doing?" You know what I mean? Like, he's
Like they don't understand yet.
Yeah,
Yes.
So that was like
Right.
77.
It's
you
like,
know
yeah,
what I
you
mean?
joke
So
about this now, but in
78
40
or something
years,
like
you and your
that.
grandkids are going to be loving this shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about the first time, like, oh, the Infinity War. It was, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, the world is just immersed
Yes.
into all of it.
Yes,
you know?
and I mean it's not just here in the U.S. It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's everywhere. Even in China. I mean, everybody's into it. I mean, and they've got their favorites of what they really like, and I just really think it's wonderful. I think it's great. We were at a motocross race in Vegas, maybe 2010, I think it was, and there was a bike that it was all gold color because they did it for the movie The Mummy.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was really cool. I was excited. But
Yeah.
last year they did superheroes. They had superheroes.
Superhero bikes?
Yeah, and on their clothes. So I
Oh,
mean,
wow.
yeah, Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was excited that even they
That
are
would be
gonna-
That is
kinda
like a
cool to
uniform.
see.
That is like
Yes.
the suit that
Yeah,
they're wearing.
they're-
That would be cool to see like a BMX biker doing a Superman in a Superman
Man,
costume,
trust
but
me.
failing the Superman jump. Like, hopefully he doesn't get hurt, but it'd still be like that'd be interesting to see. Like,
Oh yeah, now they have helmets, like
Yeah,
my
yeah,
helmet.
like your
but now they
helmet,
have
yeah.
helmets of all kinds. They have a Loki. They had a the Boba Fett one was like $500 helmet.
they
so-
have the Master Chief one as a motorcycle.
Yeah,
That's
and-
that one would be crazy.
And then Fox
looks just
even
like
has
the helmet, too. It's
C-3PO.
amazing.
That thing was
Wow.
$1,000. Yeah, it was really
A motorcycle helmet?
Yes,
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
beautiful, but it was $1,000. But they were all numbered. They were
Okay.
specifically numbered so that you had this original helmet because they only made a specific amount.
Yeah.
So I just think it's great that it has opened the door, and even like we were talking about on May 25th, it's Geek Pride Day, so everyone's going to be showing their
Yeah.
Geek
It's the 25th?
Pride. Yep,
Right now, today?
the 25th.
In like a couple weeks.
In
Oh no,
May.
but I thought today was 25th. I was like, well, what happened?
Hello.
I was like, oh god.
Aaron's drinking a beer, but I think David's getting drunk.
Would you like some? we have time. We have time, D. Don't worry. You have some time.
No, I just haven't been paying attention to dates lately.
So
I'm
that,
like,
so that is the day
Whoa.
that Solo comes out.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it's also that Geek Pride, but it's also the same day in 1977 that you had the original Star
Wars.
Wars: A New Hope come out.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
they-
I don't remember
the
if the
same day.
This was
25th
just
or like
planned.
the 18th or something like that. I know Lucas's birthday is in this month. I
It's-
don't remember if it's the 25th
Okay, so
or if
you-
it's like the 15th or 18th or 20th.
You were saying that the 4th is past us, but really, has it? Because we're still celebrating all month
No,
long.
I mean, there's still people posting things on this.
I celebrate
People are
every
still-
day.
Yeah,
like-
yeah, people-
Yeah.
yeah. If
And
you-
but you're going to be celebrating all month long because there is so much going on
yeah,
in this month.
It is. There's a lot going on in this,
Yeah.
month, especially for the geek culture itself.
Yeah, and it was Free
It's a lot.
Comic Book Day on
Yeah,
Saturday.
it
Oh, I
was.
love Free Comic Book Day. I haven't gone in years, so.
I'm hoping to do a rotation podcast show. I'll see. I'll talk to Eric, but the HD Comic Store in Hesperia.
Ooh, I love that place.
I am trying to do a show out of that spot.
We need to do a
Wow.
Radio Geonosis.
And I
Yeah,
also,
we
I
should,
also
we
want to
should.
do one at Geekdom. There's one in
Oh,
Spring
Geekdom,
Valley,
yeah, I
in
heard-
Spring Valley
yeah,
Lake. So I want to
Geekdom.
do that.
Yeah,
That place is awesome.
We have to talk to these people. Get our people to talk to their
these
people.
Yeah, we go up there with a few business cards. I think we'll be okay.
We need to
Yeah.
just hire somebody to do like management and publicity.
Yeah, Arlie. That's what Arlie's for, actually. Arlie does management.
the man.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he's a
We'll
smooth
just give him
talker.
like
so-
$10 a week to do something.
And I never thought I would meet anyone as like right up with me as far as smooth talking. But then I met Arlie. I was like, okay, man, we have
Yeah.
to be friends. We can get a lot done if we're connected.
Definitely,
yeah, for sure.
definitely. So I know David wanted to talk about
Oh, I want to talk about Avengers.
Avengers. He's just like
Woo.
chomping at the bit on
I'm not.
that
I'm
one.
sitting here calmly.
Oh no, you're not.
You're creating.
You're
I'm
itching.
just antsy because it's like kind of hot in here, and
You're chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
yeah. See, I told you she's using a fan now. I declare that kind of fan going on. Okay, so, but like Avengers news before Avengers though, it did make all the monies as we were
It did,
projecting
yeah,
last
it-
week.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It's the fastest movie to $1 billion. It beat Episode 7.
Oh wow.
Fastest movie to $1 billion.
To $1
But what
billion.
about Black?
Like it did it in
Black
like
Panther?
half the time. No, it beat back Black Panther to
By
$1
like
billion
a couple days,
too.
I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
By like a couple days.
Wow.
But it was because it was that good, and a lot of people already saw it like 4 times already. Like I said, I saw it
I haven't
twice.
even seen
Yeah,
it
so
once,
I've
but I
seen
know
it-
what
yeah.
happens. I made my friend tell me.
Oh yeah, that's right at work, right?
So I guess what we'll do is like non-spoilerly real quick, and then we'll warn you. But then we're gonna go after we do non-spoiler, we're gonna go into spoilers, or we're gonna talk about this for a few minutes. We're gonna.
For me, what I wanted to talk about was before I saw the movie, Konami gave me like a huge. We have a Thanos action figure up there.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Dev Ramos who left that for me. My son broke it the day of our pop-up shop, but I'm gonna get the leg fixed. But my friend
Poor
Konami
Thanos.
he gave me a huge rundown on Thanos. Thanos wasn't a character I was too familiar. Of course, I knew who he was, but his
Like, you didn't
origin,
know
his
the
backstory-
intricacies,
I didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that. So he gave me a long lecture on Thanos. So when I went and saw the movie, I was expecting exactly what he told me about. Not
It
only
was
did they
kinda
do a good
different.
it was kind of different. They did a good job of just switching them up and everything. But I didn't think Josh Brolin. I was like, all right, how much range does Josh Brolin have? Really, he's Cable. He's Thanos. He's this guy. He's my dad. Who's this guy not gonna play? And he absolutely killed it.
Oh yeah, that was
Wow.
his.
Josh Brolin.
This wasn't
killed it.
Avengers about the Avengers. This was an Avengers movie about Thanos.
Thanos.
Like it was a Thanos standalone
It was
film, which is
exactly.
20 little pests trying to ruin his plans.
Yeah.
It was like if you had a Scooby Doo episode that instead of following the gang around, you followed the main guy around, and the gang, like these damn kids, are just trying to ruin his plans. Like that was the movie.
Yeah, I could have got away with it if it wasn't for you silly kids and that raccoon. You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
it's almost like that. But it's crazy how Thanos is already widely just accepted by just everyone already. It did not take long for people who don't even know anything about we were just talking about that. Like people who go see the movie, they just go see the movie. They don't know anything about the comics or the backstory or anything like that. My brother being an example for one. Doesn't know, he's not really into this stuff like that, but he watches the movies. And Thanos left like just a huge mark on him. Like he ordered a Thanos shirt already.
Oh my God.
Already from big and
I've been
tall,
telling
one of those
people for
stores
years,
already. Like,
Thanos is
he
awesome.
left an imprint on him. Like he couldn't stop. I was like, you don't ever talk about any of this. Like he was like, he's just dope. I agree with everything he was saying. Like I stand by. I was like, he's not a real guy. These aren't real policies that we live by in the world. These are just Thanos's. These are just a comic book. This is just all that. But he left like an imprint on people.
Wow.
But you're right though, and I've been saying
It's
it
crazy.
for years.
It's really crazy how much he left an imprint on people.
But maybe because people, we're making it so that these characters can touch specific people.
And that's exactly a testament to Josh Brolin just killing it.
No, yeah, like I've been
how it's
saying,
written, of course, obviously too.
I've always been a proponent of performance capture.
Yeah,
Like especially Andy Serkis
yeah.
from back when it
Who
was
sets
called
the,
motion capture.
He set the standard very high
No,
too.
yeah, like I've been saying it for like probably at least a decade now that performance capture either needs to be included in Best Actress and Best Actor awards,
It has to. It has
or
to.
they need to at the Oscars need to create another category for performance capture because
You're absolutely right.
this is just like another step going. Look,
Yeah, like look how good these movies are. They're better than any Oscar.
Like, you can
Wouldn't
tell
that
Thanos
be
is-
amazing if he won an Oscar
And I-
for that
and see,
role?
my thing is with the Academy. I think the Academy doesn't see this as like the.
they don't
the
see it as an
acting.
art.
They don't
Yeah,
see it
they
as
don't
like
see it as an art.
acting as the actors and past presidents who won. They don't see it as such, which they should.
It's more difficult
Because-
than acting.
It's way more because you have all these like little pebbles, ball things, whatever
Right.
on your face.
And
You
a
got
lot of time you're acting to nothing
You're
at
acting
all.
at nothing. You're just talking to just nothing. Absolutely
Or if you
nothing.
are
But
acting
but what
on set,
about-
you can't get into character because you're just in a green suit with a stick on your head for
Yeah,
eye
it's,
for
it's,
eye.
it's way harder.
Yeah,
yeah.
I was going to say that because the betrayal of Thanos,
Yeah.
how it came out, that should be addressed as some worthy acting. Well, like they're saying, like you were saying, like the Academy doesn't recognize that.
It does. It's not. It's
No,
not. It's
yeah,
not because
they're-
we could all agree the Academy are probably just a whole bunch of like older white guys.
They are.
Or just
No,
older
they are.
men,
No,
maybe
they
in
are.
general,
They are.
older people and like going.
I didn't say it first this time.
You did it. I made sure to say it before you. But that acting is probably so dear to them. Like when you know to when to.
I'm sorry. How many times can Meryl Streep win?
Exactly.
You know,
exactly. You know
for this movie that nobody has seen.
See, and all the movies who win best movie, best film, best.
You're like, what?
They don't make any money in the box office anyway,
No.
because that's not where the reason why these movies make a lot of money, because they're good movies too.
Right.
But they ignore that fact just because it's a lot of CGI. It's not authentic acting, and but
it is.
You can't overlook that anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? Because
I think Thanos will be like, we won't see it in next year's Oscars, but I think this is going to be like, when we look back 20 years from now, we're going to be like, okay, Andy Serkis and all his work, Josh Brolin, and then a couple after him. That's how we got to.
Yeah.
We do have a performance capture, category
They
at the
should.
Oscars, or these people are at least being considered for best actor Oscars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
But no,
should.
yeah, like his performance was, because that was the only non-spoilery thing I wanted to touch on too, because you really can't go into anything else without spoilers.
Yeah.
But the non-spoilery thing I want to talk about was Thanos, because
Yeah.
oh my, like that, just the performance alone.
I mean, he did a really good job. Like
even if the
really-
character was true evil and sucked and everything,
Yeah.
Josh Brolin would have still been amazing. Like,
Yeah, because I was just like, how much range does Josh Brolin really have, though? Because I mean, from what I know, his early career, he was just like a teenage heartthrob guy on the
Right.
scene.
Yes.
and then he turned into like the
he-
white cowboy of the early 2000s.
Yeah, and then he just evolved, and I know actors evolve. Like I know
Right.
that for a fact. Growing up watching actors just not be, watching Jonah Hill go from Superbad and movies like that to being in a movie where he won Best Supporting Actor. I've seen actors evolve, but I was thinking like, how much range does Josh Brolin have though?
I had the same
range
thing.
of
Like
acting.
I knew he could pull off almost anything. Because I mean, like you look at two of his
He's
most recent
dedicated
films.
too.
You look at No Country for Old Men,
yeah,
and then you
absolutely.
also look at whether it's a good movie or not. Men in Black 3, where he plays young Tommy Lee Jones,
Yeah.
which was like, that's young Tommy Lee Jones. Like I knew he had acting chops, but I'm on the same thing as you. Like I didn't know how he
range.
would react to be like in a Thanos CGI supervillain. You don't see him at all
Thanos
roll.
almost felt like a Broadway character too. It was almost like a
Oh
Broadway
no, he was
actor.
pageantry all up
Yeah,
there.
it was.
He
very,
had the Michael Jackson glove and everything.
Yeah,
He
it was very like Broadway acting, like spotlight on him, like everything around you is all pitch black, and it's just the spotlight on one. That's how it was the whole movie for me. Like
Yeah, everything
all
he
the-
did was like
it was just-
Shakespearean monologue.
it was like it was. So you really paid attention to him. So
Is it because of the kind of guy that he was?
I think so.
Where he comes from, his
Yeah,
time frame, the
that's-
character itself.
Yeah, and you kind of get a sense of why when he talks, he's really passionate, it's really in depth, and it's really powerful, and it grabs. Even you could disagree with what he's doing, but then it also grabs because of like the Shakespearean kind of essence he have, and he stands up high,
Like royalty.
Yeah, and and he goes in and touches on, his planet and the fall,
like
the
he
rise
has
and
an
the fall and
earned
stuff like
sense
that.
of being on top. Like you don't ever get from his character or from Brolin's acting. You don't ever get like this guy is perceiving himself to be higher than he is. No, he is.
Yeah, he
like
is.
he's
He is.
earned.
Yeah,
that.
he's earned it. Whatever he's done in the past to get to where he is now, it set him up to be like this.
But he does bad things.
Very bad things. I mean, very very bad things. It's just crazy how like the last two villains or antagonists or whatever, Killmonger and Josh Brolin, really resonate with people. People left the movie theaters like, I am a Thanos fan. I don't
Wow.
forget the Avengers. They're stupid. You know what I mean? It's like, what? And it's the same thing with Killmonger. I'm a Killmonger fan. Like, I can't stand Black Panther. I wish Killmonger didn't die. That's how these two characters, the last two
No,
characters.
I agree with you. I will argue that anybody can relate to anybody, but I will also say that if you are of African American descent, specifically African American,
Yeah.
you can relate to Killmonger instantaneously.
and that's why the
but
movie was
even
really
I,
successful,
just
too.
being spatially aware of
What's going
cultural
on?
identity,
Yeah.
like even I'm like, Killmonger makes sense. I'm okay.
Yeah.
And even with Thanos,
Yeah,
Thanos makes sense.
They're one and the same, really. That's why you see
Wow.
those memes with Killmonger's jacket and his dreads on Thanos, because they have
Yeah.
like the same
Mentality.
that same mentality, the same ideology, whatever that word is. Like they
Yeah.
have the same. It's all from the same place. It's all coming from the same place.
It's kind of it kind of is like with the Sith. When we talked about
Yeah.
the Sith, they did what they did to get what they wanted.
And I think that's why I like Thanos so much too, because I was like, he could easily
Be a Sith?
because
Sith.
he's not true evil.
He doesn't even know what he's doing is evil. Like
To him, it's
to
not
him, it's like
evil.
what?
Well,
I'm wrong.
once we
here?
get to the spoilers, you'll also be like, well, what he's doing is also not
like,
evil in
I
general.
feel like later on, he's just like, I see why they think this is bad, but I still don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
No, yeah,
Yeah.
But during the whole lead up to that, like, if you were to say like, what you're doing is wrong, Thanos would be like, are you kidding me?
But
What?
Ra's al
Are you
Ghul was
dumb?
the
Like-
same way. Ra's al Ghul was the
Yeah,
same
oh,
way
yeah.
in Batman.
And that's why I think also like, because that was one of my favorite villains ever.
Yes.
He is
You
like
know,
Ra's al Ghul.
I mean, exactly.
I didn't even put that.
Exactly. Like,
Oh.
I mean, when Ra's al Ghul, I was young when the first Batman Begins came out, and when Ra's al Ghul asked Batman just that simple question, like, you know, but he asked Bruce Wayne. He wasn't Batman yet, but he was like, "Why don't you kill him? Like, this man's a rapist. He's a thief.
Right.
He's like, I'm not gonna do it. You know." And Ra's al Ghul was like, "Well, you're weak." You know what I mean? Like, that's
Right.
exactly. They all come from the same. They're all the same breed of
Like
people.
that same
Yeah.
archetype of
Yeah, the same archetype
like-
of just people. Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Because
So-
they don't see that it's wrong.
I will
but-
say,
and I could appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, what I'm doing is wrong. Excuse me, how? And it's like, what? There's many things. You're killing people. But for them, it's like all for the greater good.
Yes.
You know, like Thanos wants to get rid of half of not all the population. So he's like, it's not all the population. I'm showing you guys mercy still. I
Right.
could snap my fingers and get rid of everyone, but I'm leaving half. Like, the spoils go to some of the victors, and some of the people
Yeah.
who will survive. And it's like, but that's still half the population.
So
Yeah.
on
What's
that
the big
note,
deal?
we should go into spoilers.
Yeah.
Oh well, before we go spoilers though, for everybody listening, in case you were wondering for our opinion before you went and saw this movie, it's good. Go see it. And the one other like non-spoiler thing, it's quick and easy to get out of the way, is that especially if you watch most or if not all these films up until now, ultimate payoff for everything.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
character like has their moment on screen, has their
Absolutely.
shining identity. So
Absolutely.
it pays off. Even though it's a cliffhanger, it pays off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So if you're gonna listen now, we're going to spoilers real quick. So yeah, so you better,
I'll let Dave
Turn it
start with the
down.
spoilers, actually.
because I got one thing I saw what I
Right.
noticed. I'll get into that in a second. But yeah, oh my god. So now, if you guys are still listening, too bad for you.
If you haven't seen it.
Thanos is not an evil person at all. His whole character arc is to get the Michael Jackson Gauntlet of Power, and because of his past experience of his race being wiped out due to overpopulating and not being resource management, essentially
doesn't
what
make it
humans are
right.
doing to Earth.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
Well, so his whole thing is he's going to kill off half the universe because the universe is overpopulated and there's finite resources, and this is the only way that life itself can, continue on.
Yeah.
And it's indiscriminate. It's not like he even says it full verbatim in the film. It's not like he's just killing people he doesn't like. No, it's random roll the dice. Everybody's a 50-50 chance. He snaps his fingers, doesn't matter race,
Yeah.
sex, education level, income level, doesn't matter. Everybody is at 50-50 grabs for being exterminated from the universe, which I survived. There's a website out there. If you go to didthanoskill.me, it's just a blank page that just instantly says if you live or die. I was spared by
But
Thanos.
then,
I'll
then
check
the
that
argument can be is what gives him the right
that's the whole
to-
thing.
What
And-
gives him
and-
the
and-
right to
And
decide
he feels,
this?
and I think he feels that him knowing that he's probably the only person who could go get this gauntlet, the Michael Jackson Glove of Power. He feels like he's the only person with the right team to do it. He has the order.
But it's hidden for
Plus,
a
he's
reason.
the only person who. Well, no, the gauntlet's not hidden for. He makes the gauntlet.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
he gets the
the
gauntlet.
gems
he gets
are
the
hidden.
gauntlet, He gets
The
the
gems
gauntlet
are hidden.
made. He just feels that it's him. He feels like it's all. He is the one.
So
him,
he's
Thanos,
like Palpatine.
Yeah,
He
I was about to say he's like
decides
Palpatine or Vader, like in terms
who
of.
lives and
all
who
the
dies.
great villains reside in Thanos. You know what I mean? Like all the great,
Yes.
because there are great villains as far as like how they're portrayed, how they're
Right.
on
Bane.
screen, and things like that.
Yeah,
How,
who
you know,
decides who lives
they
and
all
dies?
they all reside in
Right.
Thanos. You know
Even
what I
though
mean?
he thinks he's a good guy doing the right thing, he really
Yeah.
isn't because you're not God
and
to
that's
decide
kind
who
of where
lives and dies.
Yeah, that's kind of where the sympathy comes in for me. Is because like they have no clue, and you kind of feel bad for them because like they have no clue. This is not going to end well for someone like you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And they're so high and mighty and they're so headstrong. They think like it is going to end up right. You know what I mean? And
But it
it's-
doesn't. It never does.
It just never does. It just
No.
never does.
It didn't for Raj al
this
Ghul.
thing-
It didn't for
anyone.
Palpatine.
But just for this movie, since there's a part 2, the cliffhanger where people were upset was because they felt like, Oh man, it ended well for this guy. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It ended well for this guy. He got rid of half.
But see, I think that's where people don't read the comic books to see
you're absolutely
exactly
right. You're absolutely
what
right.
happens.
Us, we know like.
Yeah,
What's
oh
gonna
yeah,
happen.
I know what was happening.
But it's
like,
just the people who are just like,
I can't believe
I
it.
spent $8 on this and so not. It's
so
like,
do you want to
wait,
hear my
wait.
before we go into like super random miscellaneous spoilers? Do you want to hear my cool observation?
We're not going to go too
from-
far because we got to get
Oh
to
no,
our
yeah.
show.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
do my cool observation, and we could do like the quick stuff we like that's spoilery.
Okay.
So now I'm not saying I am the proprietor and creator of this information. I noticed it, and I'm a smart person. And I'm pretty sure there's other smart people who may have noticed it, who are also on YouTube or podcasts or whatever. They might have said it. But I noticed the ultimate thing about Thanos while watching the movie as soon as the end scene happened. So Thanos is recreating the universe. So he's creating. Thanos has to seek 6 infinity gems that do 6 different things in order to recreate and create his perfect universe.
Which in the Matrix does not work.
Um,
Keep going.
So, kind of reversing back, like God created the universe in 6 days and took a 7th day of rest. Thanos uses 6 infinity stones to destroy half the universe and rewrite it in a way he wants. Then at the end of the movie, as soon as he's done with that, he takes a day of rest looking out as the Infinity Gauntlet's busted up.
It's busted up. His arm is all busted up. He
Oh,
takes
wow.
So
a
Thanos is
day
gone.
of that's basically the in hindsight.
Well,
yeah,
in hindsight, that's what he's thinking that he is.
Yeah,
But it's wonderful. I don't know if they read it. I'm pretty sure because if I got it, they had to have written it that way.
Yeah.
But,
Because
like-
that's what he is. That's really what he is.
I
What
just
he
love
thinks
that.
he
Like,
is.
yeah,
I
what
loved.
he thinks he is.
I love the fact that it was, and this has been since the incarnation of the character Thanos, because they didn't create 6 Infinity Stones, or there wasn't like 8 in the comic books and they brought down 6. No, this is like perfectly laid out to where there would be 6 Infinity Stones used by a god or a titan, if you will,
A titan.
to recreate the universe, and then afterwards he literally does what he says and he takes his day of rest, knowing that what he did has made a better future for the universe.
But
It's
it
like
hasn't.
He smiles at the end. He smiles at the
but
end.
he doesn't. Just like in the Matrix, they created a perfect world for the people that were living in the Matrix, and
Yeah.
everything was perfect. But the people died because they can't live in perfect.
Yeah.
Because they
Yeah.
don't know how.
That's
and
very
that
true.
and when they were explaining it to Neo, they said all the crops died. That's all the people. They died because they couldn't handle living in perfect.
Yeah.
And so the same thing I think would happen in
Yeah.
this world.
Absolutely.
You know, that he creates, it won't work because people can't live like that.
Yeah.
so.
We don't have that ability, and even in the comics, I don't think we have the ability to do that.
Red Skull.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome.
That really tripped me out.
He's
when
one of
I
my
saw him.
favorite Marvel characters ever.
Is he?
I was just sad that Hugo Weaving didn't reprise the role of him. They got a guy who does impressions of other people. He's a
Kevin
he's a
Bacon
famous
did it.
actor too.
Didn't Kevin Bacon do
What? No.
Red Skull?
No, it's basically the agent from the Matrix did.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
the guy,
right,
Hugo.
that's right.
Like,
Vendetta.
what's his name
V for
from
Vendetta.
Lord of the Rings? Elrond.
Elrond.
He-
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
I
Hugo Weaving.
love him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he plays.
I don't know why I'm
He
thinking
plays
there's
Red
another
Skull
character
and-
Well,
that-
he does look like Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, no, Kevin Bacon
does a little
does,
bit.
He does a
he
little
does
bit.
one in.
That's funny because Kevin Bacon's like a staple in the Marvel Cinematic Universe because of the Kevin Bacon joke with the Guardians of the
Oh, yeah.
Galaxy.
No, but he
that was brought up in
does. He does do a part in X-Men. That's where. I'm
Yeah,
getting
he does
confused.
First
Oh,
Class.
yeah, yeah.
X-Men
First
First
Class,
Class.
First
He plays
Class.
what's
That's
his
where I'm
face
getting
who
confused.
can absorb all kinetic energy
yeah.
and reuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that was awesome.
My thing I took away from it was nanotech. I liked Spider-Man.
I love the
suit of
bleeding
Iron Man.
edge.
Yeah, the bleeding edge
I
armor.
remember reading those Iron Man comics when Bleeding Edge was introduced, and I always thought, especially like when they started teasing stuff for Iron Man 3 that kind of was like the precursor
Yeah.
to Bleeding Edge. I was always like, this is dumb. How are they going to make nanobots come out of Tony Stark's bloodstream and skin to form anything he wants? But that was cool how they used the reactor.
They used the reactor.
And
Oh,
so
wow.
I loved
And
the Bleeding Edge.
The Iron Spider-Man suit. I like how Spider-Man uses pop culture movies to solve.
Oh my god!
To solve
the
problems and
aliens
get rid
one
of.
was
Oh
amazing.
wow.
He used the aliens movie this time.
Yeah, so
He uses pop culture movies, big time movies, to solve how to defeat enemies all the time.
like in Civil
And
War,
Civil War
Ant-Man-
was Star
Yeah.
Wars. He's like,
Yeah,
have
in
you seen
Civil
that
War,
old movie?
Ant-Man turns into Giant Man, and Spider-Man's like, "Hey guys, did you ever see that really old movie, Empire Strikes Back?" And he brought that up because they were gonna, go around the legs
For
and
the STS,
Oh, yeah.
the STS, what is it?
ATST, yeah.
Yeah, the
and then,
ATST, yeah.
and then what was it in this one? It was
With
aliens
aliens.
when they're on was the Ebony Maw's
Yeah,
ship.
the ship. Yeah.
It's like, is Tony Stark, you ever seen that really old movie Aliens? And they bust out they create decompression and the guy gets sucked out.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of which, though, if you watch that, if you've ever seen Aliens, first off, if you haven't, just watch the end scene when the Alien Queen's defeated. Then go watch Infinity War again, because what Ebony Maw, I think that's who they sucked out, but what Ebony Maw is doing is exactly like the Alien Queen when she gets sucked out. So
I've never seen Alien. I don't like that kind of stuff.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
It's so good. It's so good.
I'm
trying to think if there's any quick other things. Infinity War. I mean, there's
Guardians
a bunch,
of the Galaxy. The Guardians stole it from me. So like everyone had their moment. Like David said.
Oh, we got to talk
you just
about
knew
Peter
when
Quill.
When they came on the screen. Just with their funky music, and Peter Quill is just
they were
just
doing
vibing and stuff like that.
People
that was really, really
people
awesome.
probably cheer because they really love the Guardians of the
I
Galaxy.
didn't know how much I loved them until this movie.
Wow.
Yeah, you could.
I love the Guardians.
I would
and
say
they all
they're
go out in a blazing flame.
Oh man,
all but
that
one.
was just so sad.
She's coming back though.
Oh, absolutely.
Actually, that's confirmed. Russo brothers said that she's the Soul Stone now.
Oh, okay.
So I think it was Russo. It was either Russo brothers or one of them.
It could have been Kevin Feige too.
Feige or whatever his name is.
It could have been him too.
But yeah, I was reading about that this morning or yesterday that she is technically still alive because she is or is inside the Soul Stone. That's why there was that weird scene at the end after Thanos did it, and he's with Baby Gamora again.
Yeah, he sees her
because
again.
So
okay.
That one should come back. So what about Loki though? You think he's dead?
I think so.
I think so
he was
too.
crushed. I think Thanos he broke his body.
I'm sad that Heimdall went because I'm pretty sure Heimdall's gone for good.
Oh yeah,
now.
he's gone for good. That's
You don't
for
know.
sure.
You know what? Nothing is anything until you see the movie.
That's
You're
and
right.
that's true, and that's
You're right.
true.
You're
But the
absolutely right,
thing is,
Andy.
like, if all these, like, I'm fine if all the vanishing people come back. That's cool. I get that.
Yeah.
Because that's like a result of the Infinity Gauntlet. If you destroy it, they can come back, or they could use it to rewind, whatever.
They do
But if they
time travel
rewind-
and fix everybody.
Yeah.
But if they rewind time back to like right before Loki gets killed, I'm gonna be like, really? I mean, of course I would. Since Loki's character development has been amazing, I would love to see another Loki film where he's actually not a 100% asshole, more like Thor Ragnarok, but like 20% more good.
20% we're good. I watched that today too.
I would love to see that, but I don't want to see that at the expense of like there's nothing bad that ever happens in this universe because we could always rewind it. I don't want that.
Yeah. You kind of want there to be some.
I want there to be
repercussions.
some permanent death
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Because only the villains can't keep dying. Like, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the spoilers. Those
I don't
are
know,
what
Batman's
I like.
come back how many
There's
times?
more.
So you know.
Yeah,
you
there's
never
more.
know.
There's more I would say, but we of course got to get to
Yes.
One more thing.
why we're really here.
Just one thing. Last thing ever.
David doesn't want
Really
to get
awesome.
To
I loved the only in credit scene. You know, Nick
Oh, yeah,
Fury's
well,
like,
yeah.
motherfucker, and the thing drops, and then it's Captain Marvel. He's paging.
What I will say about that is, of course, Nick Fury still, while everyone's turning to dust, he's also turning to dust. But he still gets it off to press the button. I was like, of course Nick Fury would be the one to still press the button off. So Captain Marvel is on
Isn't
her
that
way.
Mace Windu?
Yes, that is.
All right,
It
there
was
we
kind
go.
of a fun fact that just to like a really tiny anecdote about Avengers Infinity War. I read today that they were actually planning on putting a lot of the Defenders in Infinity War.
yeah,
But that they're
yeah.
the reason also that Hawkeye and Ant-Man and stuff are cut out from the movie too, because even with Hawkeye and Ant-Man in there, the film was beyond bloated. Like it was an extra 20 or 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So
And someone from Hawkeye's family got turned to dust too. We just don't know
Wow.
who. He has a big family, so someone had to got turned to dust.
statistically,
I like
somebody,
him. He's
and
sexy.
which would be a great
So
point
he's-
for him to get back in
Yeah,
the
he's
fight
gonna
in the
be
second
he's
one.
gonna be Ronin in the second one. He's
I
gonna
think
be Ronin.
people are going to be surprised at what they see, cheering, excited. You know,
Oh, speaking of Ronin,
we gotta go. We gotta
From
go.
Guardians of the Galaxy Dance Off.
Yeah.
He's gonna be in Captain Marvel next year.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
A bunch of those characters from Guardians of the Galaxy are gonna be.
We're gonna be Captain Marvel.
David
yeah.
could spend the whole show talking about Infinity
It was good.
Wars.
It was good.
Yeah, go see it, guys. It was
Go
good.
see it, guys.
All right, so we have our potpourri show. So now this is going to be like kind of a dud compared to what you guys have been
not
talking
even.
to.
Not even.
As long as they care about nerd stuff, they're gonna like all of
Okay,
it.
so we're gonna go. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pick our topic, go around in a circle, like we did, like we wanted to.
Yeah.
Or like we did and then failed at.
Yes.
Let's just we have to own it, because if we don't own it, we're always like pretending it
Angie,
didn't happen.
Angie has the stats. I'll go first because mine is just basically the love for Star Wars games.
All right,
and that
go,
there needs
go,
to be more. There needs to basically what we got into last week. It needs to be more Star Wars video games. It can't be too many Star Wars games started up and then cut and never see the light of day again.
I did play Force Unleashed again.
Okay, and I
Oh
did
god,
too.
I forgot how
I used Ollie's Xbox to play.
I forgot
the
how
other day.
good yet horrible it is. Like it's that perfect combination. And I want more force powers how they're used. Not necessarily the crazy shit where like he can destroy an entire room and look funny while doing it.
Yeah.
But like just like a diversification of force powers. I want that on the big screen. I don't want it in the damn CGI TV shows. Show me it in the something live action.
And I agree with that. When Star Wars: The Force Unleashed came out, I was like, man, it sucks that none of what he did here translated to any of the movies, because he has awesome force powers. He could hold you up, toss a lightsaber, call it back, throw you 120-something
Now, who is
yards.
this that you're...
This is Galen Merrick, the
Star
greatest
Killer.
Star Killer. Yeah,
Like
Galen
Darth
Merrick.
Vader's secret apprentice. I was talking about.
okay.
Yeah, he's Darth Vader's secret apprentice. He was Darth Vader's hitman, his assassin.
Every Sith Lord has secret Sith.
They do,
Sith people.
and Galen Merrick is the best. He's the best one ever to me.
I would agree, but not necessarily because he's super amazing. I mean, he's awesome.
He's awesome.
But a lot of the, like at least in Legends, a lot of the other secret Sith apprentices are kind of terrible.
Yeah,
but Galen Merrick is like,
and he has a story of his own that could hold up.
Yeah, like you could make a Galen Merrick movie.
You could easily make.
This is from. Is it in the book The Force Unleashed?
His story should be
in there. Absolutely.
You could even
take
awesome Galen Merrick and rewrite half of his story because it doesn't count anymore and put it in a movie, and it would still be.
It would still be really, because the story is good.
Isn't that a shame that we hear it doesn't count anymore?
Yeah,
and it's kind of
a
shame because there's a lot of juicy characters, a lot of in-depth stuff that really should be included.
I think they're getting there.
If you think about like David's played the game, and I know it's not a movie, but you could watch the cutscenes on YouTube, and
it makes sense 100%.
We talked about that too, so you could even do this as well, and you would enjoy it too.
Yeah,
you would really enjoy it. It's the quest. He actually goes on a quest across the galaxy in the beginning to look for these people. Darth Vader tells him, "You need to kill them, and you need to bring me back their lightsaber."
Was it in the second one where he
almost
fought
like the Inquisitor?
Exactly. And so he actually goes on a quest. And going on that quest, he finds out that like he might not be the only.
And he's in love with his white woman pilot.
Yeah.
He
finds love. He finds sorrow,
love himself.
It's everything. It's everything in it. So it needs to be more Star Wars games, not only games, but like IPs like that, fresh new stories.
I think
like
what makes stuff like that more popular though is because you're telling the story over the course of a video game where I could play at will.
Yes.
And like even in a speed run, 6 hours.
Exactly.
Whereas opposed to you got to get everything into movies, or you're talking about series of movies or series of shows.
Yeah.
So I think, especially with Disney right now, because even though they have the money, Disney and Lucasfilm have all the money. Like they can make 40 Star Wars flops in a row and not lose a cent.
Not lose anything. And that's what I don't.
And I think they're just really apprehensive of doing like more creative stuff because of that. But it's like you guys. You're already taking risks with the nostalgia factor. Like take a risk with experiments.
They can unzip and just go, and let it all come out.
And it looks like they're doing that because ever since we just started this podcast, this year alone, we've learned about a Rian Johnson trilogy coming out. We've learned about the D.B. Weiss and David Benioff Game of Thrones series of movies coming out. Jon Favreau's doing a live action TV show. And then outside of that, there's one or two other 100% unannounced live action TV shows too. It's like
I don't think people
on top of that with all the other anthology films. Like
they're not going to get sick of seeing it. A lot of people saying
I will get sick of seeing it if I see the same thing every year. That's my only concern.
What they're saying is, there's too much nostalgia. There's too much this and that. But like we talked about earlier, there are people that have not been in this fight since they were 6 years old. Yeah. They are just getting into it. So for them, it is, I want more. I want to learn more. I want to know more.
That's how I think you have to treat stuff like that. Yeah. You have to treat it as far as like, I want to do something for the next generation. Don't look at it as just a project for you to get money now, get notoriety now. Do it for like the next generation of people coming up.
Right.
And you want, because that's how it's supposed to be.
Right. And for people that have never seen the movies, have never been involved in all the things that have gone on with Star Wars all these years. These people are just getting into it. Yeah. And I mean, I don't fault anybody for it. I think it's fantastic when people tell me, I've never watched it before, and I just started watching. I love it. I mean, I'm excited for them. Because I had a friend at work that told me that, her son was sick, so she stayed home and she watched Star Wars with him, and now she's into the Clone Wars and just really, really loves it. And I think that's a wonderful thing people are now getting into it. So it's okay to make nostalgia. It's okay to go forward.
Yeah, nostalgia is nostalgia for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason why that word even exists. Sometimes
Right.
you just have to bring the old back to the. It's just the way the
And
world
who's
works.
not excited to see Chewbacca and Han Solo together getting the ship for the first time?
Because no one could say, because not everyone's read the books.
Right.
And we were just talking
And
about
since
that.
they're rewriting it, why not see it?
Why not see it? Exactly. Why not go spend
can't wait to see
$8
that
to go?
movie.
I can't wait to see it.
I
either.
know it's going to be so exciting.
So that's basically my potpourri.
I think it's gonna be
More
the most
IPs,
original
take
Star
the risk,
Wars
make
movie.
games. That's mine.
Okay, so my potpourri is about the clone troopers because I keep going over this like I'm running over it over and over and over. But I looked online to see about the stormtroopers, what kind of information they had. And the most that I could find was that their regulations were 6 feet tall. Maybe that's why Princess Leia says to
You're a little short to be a
to Luke,
stormtrooper.
aren't you a little too short to be a stormtrooper? But that's because they
She's a
had a
sizist.
regulation of 6 feet tall. So clone troopers, we know that they had a service time, they had a specific weight, they had they all wanted to choose names instead of numbers, and they all had they felt kin and friendship for those around them, and they also, I think, developed the ability to love, and I don't mean just love their brothers and the people around them, but also women, because 3 of these clone troopers end up having children. And the first one was Cutlaw, and he had a Turkle wife, and he had 2 hybrid children, and that was in the Clone Wars. And then RC-1136, Darman, he fell in love with the Jedi Knight, and she broke her code. This is Eton. She broke a code and got pregnant. Shame on her. But she ended up marrying him, and they did it in the Mandalorian way. So one of these days, I think we need to do a show based on just the Mandalorian lore, because I think it runs
Thank you.
deep and I think it would be great to go
Do you
over.
want to know a quick Mandalorian fun fact?
Fun fact.
In Legends, the Mandalorians started out as an actual race. They looked nothing like humans. They something
the
like
Sith.
no, they looked way less human than the Sith did. Like they had,
Sith did
like,
not look human.
they
They
had,
had
like, the-
tentacles on their faces.
you know, like how I think if I remember what the Mandalorians originally looked like, I'll have to show you a picture. Like they had like like cat's back legs have like the
Yeah.
like reverse knees kind of thing. They had, like messed up looking faces. I think they had like 3-digit hands and stuff.
We
Like
need to look into
Mandalorians
that.
were originally. Let me look. I'll see if I can find a picture right now.
And
But
then
yeah,
I
they're
thought
really
it was
cool
kind of
looking.
interesting that this Darman character in Eton, they came from the book it was called Hard Contact, and it was based on a game in 2005. There was a game series of Hard Contact.
What?
So it's Star Wars. Yeah,
It was
I
a
read
game?
that. Yeah, it was a game, some sort of game series, and the books were based on that Hard Contact, almost like a Halo kind of thing. And our third clone that got involved.
Found it.
Our third clone that got involved with a woman was A98 Django Tat. And he fell in love with a human. Her name was Sheikah Tull. And she fell in love with him because he looked like Jango Fett. Jango Tat looked like Jango Fett.
He was a
who
clone.
Jango Fett, I know. Django, when she was 18
Well, she
years
didn't know
old,
that.
she might have.
She probably saw something. Sorry.
Yeah,
She probably
maybe.
saw something.
Maybe.
That's
Oh,
a Mandalorian.
Wow. Oh, wow. I'm glad they don't look like
No,
that
they have 5
anymore.
finger hands. I thought they had 3.
That's really creepy looking. But she fell in love with him, and because he reminded her of Jango Fett that she fell in love with years ago, she ended up having a child with him. She called him Nate, and after Jango Tat's original name, but he perished in the Clone Wars. So that's one of my potpourris. David?
On my potpourris was there's these things called Mandalorians, and they started out as the Tong, and they looked really funny. You guys just saw. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they look.
I'm
like
kind of like on the
the
same.
Sith looked like that too. They
A
were,
little
they
bit,
kinda,
yeah.
They had red eyes
Yeah,
and they had these
yeah.
weird tentacles on
Yeah.
their face. But they ended up the women bred with the Dark Lords that went on that planet. Therefore, like
there's like a hybrid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they became Sith. But do they really? Because it waters it down.
That's true.
Well, if
When
my-
you start mixing races
I'm not
like
gonna
that,
go-
it waters it down. So
Oh,
does the
that's
Sith
terrible.
actually, are they really that Sithy? No, they're not, because it's a watered down version
Yeah.
of the Sith.
Yeah.
And the more they breed, now let's say the
well, it's a species, not a race, though.
right, the Sith, yeah, it's a species, but the Sith species.
Sounds way better when you say watered down species instead
It
of
is
watered down
it
races.
is a watered down species. But then when they, let's say they end up having children, but those children end up becoming together. They get together. That means it's even watered down even more.
Yeah.
You know, that's like with me. I'm German and Spanish, but my children, because I wasn't with a Spanish or a German man, they got watered down.
Yeah, yeah.
So I see that it gets watered down, even though when you read some of the Old Republic books, they say, I'm a Sith, I'm this, but it's actually a watered down version of the original race. Just putting that out there.
Species.
It's like a fun fact also.
Yeah, a little fun fact there.
It's like a fun
Watered
fact.
down.
It's like a fun fact too, yeah.
Species, though, not races.
A species.
Species.
Well, it would be a race too because it's a Sith race.
Well, you can call them the race of Sith, but they're
It was a planet.
like if they
on
were
that
still
planet.
humans, they would be. But they were like on a different part of Earth than they were red.
But
They
they
would
were
be
a
a
diff-
race,
they were
but
on a
they're
different planet,
they're
so it's
alien
their
to us.
race.
They're species.
Yeah. Well, keep going.
Okay. No, yeah, I'm on like the same kind of like mindset as he is right now because I just want more Star Wars video games and books. Because honestly, everything's terrible right now for Star Wars fans. The only thing that's good is we're getting movies all the time.
I don't know. I don't know if the books are bad. I don't know.
Well, no, the books right now are good. We're just not getting them. Like how many books
could
we're
be a
getting
lot-
now
there could be
compared
a
to how
lot
many
more.
we would have gotten in a single year, like 10 years ago, is
I think
There was so much more meat and potato
I
to
hope
cover.
I hope Star Wars brand, the marketing team, whoever, the brand itself doesn't think that they're oversaturating the market because they're not. I think
No.
they should take full advantage of
Right.
how vast their universe is.
I think Lucas
what I
did.
mean?
I think Lucas did.
yeah.
because
That's why
look
we
at
had
how
all that
many,
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm collecting books from the EU,
Yeah.
and I'm on 120 right now, and most of them were released from 99 on.
Yeah.
120 books
But see,
in
like,
this time
there's
period.
no reason why there shouldn't be like Star Wars stores
Right.
across the country. You know what I mean?
Like Disney stores,
like
but
yeah,
Star
just
Wars.
like stuff like that. That's kind
I
of.
went
what
to
I
the
mean. Like,
one
you have to
inside Disneyland. It was freaking
take-
packed.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that Star Wars store
I
next to
tried
Star
to,
Wars.
I tried to
Yes.
make a lightsaber and these kids were just stepping on my feet just all over. I couldn't even grab a light and just tried, but I couldn't.
Yeah,
But
the
that's-
one time I went
that's what
there,
mean.
I
Take
was lucky
advantage
it wasn't
of
packed.
Yes.
what you have. Take advantage
Yes.
of the world you created.
People are thirsty for this.
Because I think if there was a Star Wars store anywhere, it would be packed.
Oh my
It
God,
would be-
everybody be in there all the time.
But yeah, so pillows, covers, sheets, hats. You can make a store
Oh yeah.
like that. So
Yeah.
I think there's just there's a lot. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot, but there could be.
It's like
more.
old
Yeah,
indie filmmakers say, just take stock
Definitely.
of what you have, and
also
Disney's
that
not really
too.
doing that.
I think there should be a lot more Star Wars indie films, man. I think
Yeah.
you should give. Of course, it's just a big franchise. Of course, you're gonna go out the directors who have.
But
things
like
under their belt,
50
but-
million instead of
but
$250 million Star Wars
just
movie
give-
might be
give-
interesting.
Give a young up and coming director or a young up and coming
Yes.
team a chance to.
It's a fresh look.
It's a fresh look. It's
Yeah.
some indie films, some indie TV series, stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
they could definitely do that as well. So
I
just
agree.
I just want to see them like kind of.
It'd be cool to get like
of it.
a Star Wars TV show that's Star Wars, but it's like Degrassi. Like,
No.
No.
like a bunch of Canadian kids running around
I'm
in a high
sorry.
school.
No.
But that's something.
Degrassi? Really?
But maybe like the clone, the clone school, like the train, like
Yes.
just like that, like that
Like-
would be dope. That
No,
would
yeah,
be
like
cool
I
to
just
me.
want to see
That would be cool
stuff
to me.
we've never
Or
seen before.
even,
a Jedi school, like
that stuff you've not seen before. Because remember, these movies just covered a little bit.
Yeah.
They did not go over.
No, that's what I'm saying. But like we're making all these movies now, and
a show
everything
based
has
on the
to.
underground trade, because everyone knows
Yes.
that's a big a show based on that would be insane. Like it would be
Yes.
it would be Breaking Bad mixed with you know what I mean.
Give me a
Exactly.
full-on
Just
gangster
do
flick.
that,
I mean,
yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what
I want
Solo's
to know
gonna
about
kind
the
of be.
gangsters
But
of Star Wars.
Yes.
The guys who
The
had their
dirty
hand-
underbelly.
Right, exactly. That's that. And we had a little bit of that in episode 7 when they go to what you call it, cafe.
Oh, Miles Kanata's
You
stuff, yeah.
see those guys. You see those
Yes.
guys who are just. Some of them are on the run. Some of them need to be safe. Some of them, based on what those people go through.
Yeah, and you get a little bit of that with Rogue One too. You
Yeah,
get a little bit of that.
but see, that's what I also liked about Rogue One is because like that stuff was still left unexplained.
Yes.
The underbelly of Star Wars. I want to see that. I want to see more of the gangsters of Star Wars. I want to
Yes.
see that. I want to see. You know what I mean?
I want to
that's
see
what I wanna
Star
see.
Wars from
That's
a
what I wanna
point
see.
of view to where the universe isn't always in peril. Like
Okay.
even if there's a Sith Lord running around, or if it's taking place at a school or
I
in
want to
the
know what
underground
happened
of Coruscant,
to
like I don't want.
Obi-Wan in the desert. That's what I want. I'm sorry.
You're gonna get that before you even know
I
it.
hope so.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get that for sure. You're gonna get that.
All
I
right.
would say that would be either the next and potentially last anthology film.
I hope
Would
so.
be Obi-Wan.
All right,
because
so
it
let's
doesn't
do
seem
another
like they're
fun
gonna do the
fact.
Star Wars.
So the Kessel Run was a hyperspace route used by smugglers and unscrupulous fighter captains to move what? Spice from the spice mines on Kessel. Han did the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs. According to Ray, it was 14. Breaking the record for that run. And to me, it was almost like what they did in the beginnings of NASCAR. The guys that were involved back in the 30s and the 20s and 30s was like prohibition. They were called the moonshine runner guys. So they would get the alcohol to the different areas where they were selling the alcohol in these speakeasies. So it was almost kind of like that. I thought it was kind of a cool fact that they used almost the same thing. And since Lucas was involved, he liked a lot of the racing and drag racing and things like that, and he used it in American Graffiti. He actually incorporated that into Star Wars as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he does it again in the pod races.
Yeah, with the pod races. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
he does it again in the pod races.
My favorite arcade game.
Yes.
One of my favorite arcade games.
One of my favorite Nintendo 64 games was Star Wars Zone Racer.
Yeah.
Same thing with PlayStation 2. They released Racer Revenge, and that one was great too. And all I want in the world right now is a PlayStation 2 and a copy of that game. I'm gonna just have to get that stuff off of eBay one day.
Real quick, there is a game store right over here by Kaiser. He has all.
Oh yeah, I saw that because my university's
Wow.
This guy is legit.
For $1.
This guy, he actually charges a pretty penny for his game.
Oh, okay.
But it's still pretty dope.
over there. Because I saw that place. I want to go in there
Yeah. So yeah.
one day.
Yeah, we
One
all
day.
want to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, we do.
All right, the Millennial Falcon's computers.
Oh wait, we didn't say my fun fact about the Kessel
Oh.
Run though.
Say the fun fact about the
yeah.
Kessel Run.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody's confused at that when they hear it because parsecs is a measurement of distance, not time. And the reason why he did it in 12 parsecs because it's asteroid filled, and he found the quickest way out
Around
of
it.
out of the asteroid
yes.
field.
Yes.
So all those people out there who say Star Wars is dumb because they got their measurements wrong, you're dumb.
And
No,
Rocket-
no.
It's a different
We
universe.
love our
but-
fans.
It's a different universe, but in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Rocket and Peter Quill were arguing over who could get out the asteroid field.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's almost like this. Yes.
Exactly like it.
Yes. I love
I loved
that.
him and Thor's dialogue. Just side note
Yeah.
that movie the whole time.
Yeah.
You have to see that, Edgy, just for Rocket
I
and Thor's
know.
dialogue.
I will. I promise.
It was almost as good as Korg and Thor and Ragnarok.
Okay, so back to Star Wars. The computers were made up of 3 droid brains. I know I'm a killjoy here. The first one was R3, the astromech. The second was V5 transport droid. And number 3 was the slicer droid. And
Astromech?
it's an astromech.
Okay.
Yes. And that is why Han Solo tells C-3PO he needs to plug him in to talk to the Millennial Falcon.
The
to
Millennial
see-
Falcon.
To see what's wrong with it.
He said the Millennial Falcon. There's a bunch of 23-year-olds in plaid shirts just, driving a spaceship going, I don't know, man.
The Millennial Falcon.
Do you have your indie rock albums with you?
Isn't it called the Millennial Falcon?
Millennium.
Millennium. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Oh my god.
It took her a second to get what I was making fun of her for.
Well, sorry guys.
Oh, you're fine.
It's
You're
late.
fine.
It's late. It's late.
You're fine.
I don't know. I can never. A lot of times I'm like,
This is actually a prime time episode right here.
Oh, this is
Prime time. This is not to be taken lightly
I haven't
at all.
had my
guys.
coffee yet.
This is prime time.
David and I talked about something that was kind of poignant when we were talking about Revenge of the Sith.
Word of the day, poignant.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
It's
what is
when-
people I'm going to do that every
On the
podcast
Millennial
now. I'm
Fal-
going to
the
come up with
Millennium Falcon.
Every day we do a podcast, I'm going to come up with the word of the day, and when you guys say it, I'm going to go into the Pee Wee Herman yell.
Just don't dance.
I will. I love Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Okay,
that show is
so-
legit.
So what happens when Darth Vader or Anakin is laying there burning up, right? So Palpatine goes and gets him.
Yes.
And he's bringing him back. And I asked David, okay, so he brings him back, and they are on Coruscant, but it's pouring rain and it's thundering outside, right?
Yeah.
That planet is actually controlled. Their weather is controlled. So
Yeah,
why did they
yeah.
make it rain on that day? So they're raining because it's a dark time.
Yeah,
The
it's all
Emperor is taking
imagery.
over. It's
Yeah.
a dark
Time
time.
in the galaxy.
Yes.
Oh,
Thought that was kind of cool.
that is pretty.
What was
that is.
cooler than that fun fact is all my Star Trek knowledge I used to.
We're going to
amplify
pass
that.
on that right now. So May the 4th. Let's go over May the 4th because we're going to go over it. Because I say so. I am Thanos right now with the Millennium Falcon. Millennium Falcon.
I swear, woman.
You say millennial one more time.
Millennium.
In the most dirty Harry voice I
Oh my
have.
God.
You said one more time.
Do you feel lucky?
Oh my gosh.
Make my day.
You feeling lucky, man?
I said it so wrong, everyone's going to punish me. Okay, so May the 4th
Yeah,
be
our-
with you. The first reference was used to congratulate Margaret Thatcher on her win of the seat as a prime minister. And this was done in 1979. That was the first time they did it. The movie was released in 77, so they probably, and they filmed in England. So it is all,
wow.
yeah, they did a lot of filming in England.
yeah,
so
yeah.
it's, the English was still feeling it.
Yeah.
In 2008, the first Facebook group appeared celebrating Luke Skywalker Day with the same phrase, and it caught on only at the colleges.
Yeah,
at
2008, I
first,
think, is
yeah.
when mine first.
At
I
first.
first started celebrating it.
A few years later, Star Wars was born. And in 2011, the first organized celebration of Star Wars Day took place in Toronto, Canada, at an underground cinema. In 2013, the Walt Disney Company officially observed the holiday. I'm getting...
Because you're giving too much information without pauses. And
Yeah, I'm trying to squeeze it in because you have a...
was it like physically underground or was it just like underground?
It was underground. I understand underground clubs,
I understand
underground
that too. I just
scene.
thought it'd be cool to be an underground movie theater.
I
'Cause
don't
of
think it
course
was.
Star
I
Wars
think
people would go
is-
there.
There's actually an underground mall in Atlanta, Florida, because Mark and I went there.
No, Atlanta's in Georgia.
I mean, no, Atlanta, Georgia. Oh my God, I need some coffee. Oh, Atlanta, Georgia. He's starting to frustrate me. He's starting to frustrate me.
This is what you get for getting me here at 7 o'clock at night. I am edgy. I am ready to play video games and pet my cats. And here I am.
And I can't even wake up right now because I don't even know where Atlanta is.
It's in Georgia.
It's in Georgia, not in Florida. But anyways, there is an underground mall there.
I was
But the
messing
movie
with you too.
theater
I was
is-
like, well, there could be in Atlanta, Florida. I don't know, but I'm
there
still going
isn't.
to call
There's
her
a dump
out.
water, according to Married with Children.
Oh, I love that show too. What's his
One
name
of my
from?
favorite shows, actually.
Yes.
What's
yes.
his
One of
name
my
from?
Who's the
favorite
man
shows
who
ever.
shook the hand of Andy Griffith?
Yeah.
Ed
He
Harris.
murdered people.
Is Ed Harris right from? He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played in Finding Dory. He played the octopus.
Oh my God.
If you ever saw it.
Yeah.
Oh my
So-
God.
That's a good movie.
Yep. Very.
Okay, so
Gerald, bring us your mail, Gerald.
Aaron, since I'm lost with what I'm saying, I can't even pronounce the ship or the places things happened.
Hey, say Camino.
No. I can't say.
Yeah, he does want to play video games. and pet his
Camino.
cats. He does.
I just want to have fun
Camino
right now.
is-
This is fun.
Yeah,
I'm this is the most like casual and mildly abusive podcast we've had. I'm digging it.
He says I'm running too much like a general.
I didn't say that. I would have used a way more constructive adjective than general.
A senator? No, I was
No,
kidding.
he's what is it? A ruler? I'm like the palpies.
Like the Palps. The
Like
Palps.
the palps.
Mhm. He's
I was
actually-
gonna go
he's
with-
actually watching over us right there.
Oh yeah, he fell over.
That grin, yeah, he did. He fell over drunk the other night.
We got like Palpatine, Walter White, another Palpatine.
He is so sneaky.
Boss
That guy is beyond.
and
sneaky.
Dr. Doom
He's a
watching over us? I
Thanos.
think
He's
we're
a
good.
baby
We're
Thanos.
good. We're
We're
very
good.
Yes,
I
we
mean,
are.
just Dr. Doom alone. We're
Yeah,
good.
Thanos is
All right,
watching us
Aaron.
too.
Do you have a fun fact?
Do I have a fun fact?
Do you? Well, you told me that Atlanta's not in Florida.
Fun fact is that there is no Atlanta in Florida. That's my fun fact, and also it's Millennium Falcon.
I have a fun
Not
fact.
They're like,
Millennial
why is she
Falcon.
running this show? She doesn't even know what she's talking about.
You're not running
No.
it. You just have the illusion of running it. We take over.
Oh.
My fun fact is that I wish the Clone Wars cartoon series, not the
animated, the first one.
The first one. I wish that was a little longer.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because that ended really
that
quickly.
ended really
And
And that was
fast.
at the
That's
time
only
that was
3
all the
years.
only Star Wars TV we
Yeah.
got, and
I,
it was
I
like
really wish that they either brought it back this longer, or they come out with like a collector's edition DVD with a whole bunch of just good
Outtakes.
bonus. Yeah, yeah.
Have
no,
Obi-Wan
and-
Kenobi do like those goofy
No,
outtakes.
no. That's what you would want.
It
This
is.
what I would want.
I'm in love with the man. I'm telling you.
That's a fun fact for me though, because I was watching those shows on YouTube.
I like this
So
fun
hot.
fact.
So
Yeah,
hot.
yeah.
She's
Okay.
just skipping over me now.
David,
Do I have a fun fact?
do you?
Oh yeah.
Aside from the
I put my own
Mandalorian-
pants on this morning.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Was that fun?
We're not. This is a family show.
I didn't say any.
Don't say any. Don't.
Okay,
don't say
yeah, I
anything.
started. I cut my.
Yeah.
I cut myself off before I started
yes,
explaining why what I said was PG, and that would have made it R.
Don't you say another word.
Don't say another word.
I like that in Men in Black 3 though, and after he neuralizes him and I put my pants on.
Okay, he put his pants on.
Oh, but no,
so-
I had a fun fact.
Go ahead.
You may forget it though.
Okay, I'm gonna say.
Oh,
mine
come back
that-
to me. Come back to me.
I will. So May 25th is the day the movie was released in 1977. So in 2007, the Los Angeles City Council declared May 25th as Star Wars Day in honor of the 30th anniversary. We're past that now. We're at 40 years. It also is the day observed as Geek Pride Day. So everybody remember, May 25th is Geek Pride Day. So we
I
got to
can't
be...
wait.
Yeah, we got to be showing our pride. I talked to my friend who is in a band called Since We Were Kids, and he's a big Godzilla fan. So I told him
wow.
he'll be doing a show that day. So I told him, and he's the drummer of the band. I told him you got to wear your Godzilla shirt that day in honor of Geek Pride.
Yeah,
Because if
for
you
sure.
saw him, I mean, this guy's a pool skater, does all kinds, but he is a huge Godzilla,
Godzilla fan. Yeah,
Yes.
he absolutely should wear some Godzilla gear.
Yeah.
I like that
Yes.
Godzilla movie that came out with
Yes.
Walter White in it.
Okay, so this
Drum out.
Geek Pride Day is also observed as a from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. They call it Two Towel Day in honor of the writer of
Of Hitchhikers.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm like, oh my god, I got stuff there. And then
That's a good-
also Discworld, a comic fantasy book series.
Mm.
So woo 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 to that.
I don't know what happened.
No.
This is Angie needs her coffee. That's all.
Yeah, I
think
do.
She's had too much coffee. Like she just can't think straight
How
anymore.
about Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan say the same thing regarding Anakin?
Oh, I thought she was gonna ship them for a second.
Yeah, I shall do what I must.
Mm.
Now, Qui-Gon says it to get Anakin involved in the Jedi, to go ahead and train him as a Padawan, and Obi-Wan does
Says
it
it.
to kill him.
I really hope that was deliberate
Wow.
on Lucas's part. I really do
that
hope
was.
deliberate.
It's almost like a. It's
Well, I
almost
don't
like
know,
a
he's-
double entendre. In a
Yes,
sense.
yeah. Ooh, entendre. I like
Ah,
that. Double entendre. Ooh, fancy word.
Very
Fancy, fancy.
But yeah, it's almost like a double entendre in a
Yes,
sense. though,
it
like,
is. It is.
One for good, and I'll do what I must bad. I'll do what
Yeah.
I must for good. I'll do what I must for bad.
For bad, yeah. Just take care of
big
it.
time.
But does he kill him? No.
He doesn't.
He should have just, like I said, he should have kicked him into the lava.
Lava, yeah.
Just to make sure he was dead. Because then the
Yeah.
Palpies couldn't have got him.
They got him. They
Yeah.
got him. They got him and doctored
I
him up.
maintain that is illogical, but
No, he should have, because you know
oh,
what
he
Yoda-
should have. I'll agree with
Yoda
that.
told him he had to kill him. And he should have made sure he was dead. I'm sorry.
I
just
still
because-
maintain that burnt up white boy on the damn thing with all his limbs cut off is he's dead.
Well, no, because he was still moving around and said, I hate
Yeah,
you. I
yeah.
hate you.
There was no way.
So-
Yeah, he wasn't gonna die from that.
No,
You
no.
know, are you kidding me?
From you people
That would have killed anybody.
Well, no, because think about it, those are
But remember,
those are
he's
laser
special.
lightsabers though.
Yes, and
So
he's
getting
special.
a clean cut on your leg.
Well, no, yeah, but that's still that's damage. That like nerve pain. That's like so
And-
much damage that could kill you.
And
just
when
from damage.
when they hooked him, or when they hooked his body back up, all those pain receptors and all that stuff got hooked right back up.
Yeah. So he doesn't. But he does lose his power once he's all burned up and he loses arms, legs, and all.
Because
he's-
Force is living.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and
you're right.
it burned off some of them, so he doesn't have as many midichlorians as Yoda anymore because half of them got fried off.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have it. So he becomes Palpatine's hitman. He wears an uncomfortable suit that Palpatine built for him. So he's constantly in pain, so it makes him very angry. He's angry about Padme dying. He's angry about what he did, to the Jedi. He's angry about everything. So that keeps
He
him
is
in the
someone you would
constant
get a whiskey
state.
for.
Yeah.
You look like you had a hard day, man. You would- Here you
Especially
go.
when he
It's
takes
all his fault. bro.
Yeah, that's a guy.
Exactly.
Do you
get a
think when
whiskey
James Earl Jones came
And
in
he
to like
lets
do those
both
3
people
lines,
die.
he's like,
Is-
no.
if you stop and think about it, he didn't want Padme to die like Shmi. But he actually was the cause of both of them
for?
dying.
Yeah, he was.
Because Shmi, he saw her being attacked. He saw that he was having these horrible dreams, but he chose to ignore it.
Yeah.
I hate
So-
how people die
Darth Vader
from.
doesn't sleep.
But
Because
he
it's
sees,
written.
he knows that he saw this, right? He knows he sees it. He sees it happening with Padme, tells her, I see you die in childbirth, but doesn't do anything.
That's
to
kind of a
change
messed
that.
up thing to tell your wife. Like you wake
Well,
up one
I mean,
day and you're
she
like,
asked.
you
She
did
die in
ask.
childbirth.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
She
you know
did
what?
ask.
This is what happens when you ask. You get
Yeah.
some bad
Imagine
news.
going home
Yeah.
and like, imagine 30 years
what I
ago
tell
you
women
go
all the
home and you wake up next to your husband and your husband's
You
like, you
asked.
die in childbirth. That would be creepy.
Okay, so they could have done something different to change that.
Yeah.
Because Yoda said it's okay for people to die. Now, if he had accepted that, then she wouldn't have died. Because what he did was the first time he ignored it, so he messed that up. Second time he messed it up by trying to change it.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's an idiot all the way around.
Yeah, he is. He is. Love is blind
Sorry.
for sure.
Sorry.
It is.
Sorry, Anakin.
Love makes you
didn't
do
mean to-
stupid things.
Sometimes.
We've all been there.
Oh yeah, we have.
We've all been there.
Okay, so we also talked about, David and I talked in the hallway about Sly Moore, which is Palpatine's staff aide. She doesn't really say much. She doesn't really, you don't, in the movie, you just see
She
her
doesn't say
sitting there.
anything in the movie.
No,
She just,
doesn't
like, chills there.
But she has mind control. And she's always in the Chancellor's office. So when the Jedi come in, she actually blocks their way of seeing him as a bad guy, as a
For
Sith.
who he really is.
Right, because he's trying to control it. But in order for him to talk to them and deal with the things that they're talking about, she is actually there as almost like a shield to protect him. And she was rescued by Palpatine. She was in a tomb haunted by an old dead Sith Lord, and we wanted to find out who the Sith Lord
I hope it was like an old senile Sith
yeah,
Lord, like he was haunting the place.
Zabrak assassin.
It's like he just
imprisoned
didn't know
her.
where he was, and he was the
So,
Force Ghost.
I mean, I thought that was kind of cool
Show me
too.
that
That
Star Wars
a
movie.
Zabrak, a Zabrak assassin imprisoned her, but yet Palpatine has a Zabrak. He has Darth Maul.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a, like you're saying, it's almost like a double negative
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was a really sneaky guy, but he trained her in the dark side.
Oh, okay.
He trained her in the dark ways. He had a lot of people that he trained. In case one got killed, well, I got to stand by.
Yeah, I got to stand by. That's kind of how the Sith work. They make sure they have a standby.
Yeah, they have a standby like
Yeah.
timer 12.
Yeah, yeah. They have standby.
I still
for
don't
sure.
get why everybody thought Darth Maul was cool. I'm not saying he's not cool.
He was cool.
Darth
had
Maul
He
very-
was. He was a very unique villain.
Darth Maul was
But
cool.
like,
he wasn't
wherever I
explained
hear
in the
people
movie.
talk about
it's
him,
where
it's
you
just-
see him in the
Clone Wars.
Yeah.
That's what
where-
makes him cool.
That's
Yeah,
what makes him really
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the
No,
movie
I
has-
always liked him, but like
He gets
everybody
cut in
seems
half and
to
survives. I mean,
yeah.
the bottom part of him is gone.
Yeah.
Think about that.
But I think
the
that's really,
intestines and
that's
everything
really
are
just because it's
gone.
that clean cut of a laser sword. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean,
Well,
if
no,
it's
yeah.
below the, he lost a lot of things.
yes, he did.
be. He did. Ever since he had the robot legs, I was always like, how does he digest food? How does he use the bathroom?
He doesn't.
No,
That would kill him though.
but
Well,
he may be.
There's not even fake science that will like rewrite that he wouldn't die.
That's true.
Well, maybe he had like. Well, think about that. Anakin was really fried up too. How did he go to the bathroom?
I mean, even that.
Well,
no,
his
he had-
suit
no,
has-
talking about that.
his
I know
suit
how
has-
Darth Vader goes to the bathroom. His suit has stuff
His-
built in for him to use the
yeah,
bathroom,
his suit-
and it turns it into energy.
Yuck.
Is that true? No.
That can't be true. That's like Soylent
It's
Green.
No, he recycles his waste.
Where is it written? Where is this written?
I read it somewhere.
Oh,
He actually might,
man.
look, it might have a waste
As long as he
dispenser in his
doesn't
suit.
But
drink
technically, even if he's in that suit, even if he can come out of it or not,
I think he
by
can.
our
He can.
biological standards, he
does
would die.
because he's in it he's not in the back to
yeah,
suit
he could get-
when
No, no.
he's in that back to tank.
Well, no, yeah, I
he's
know he
naked.
can get out.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is like, because if he's in that suit, the diet he has, he's on an all liquid diet, that would kill him over time. Like he would have not have lived like what was it, 25 years after he was in
Maybe
that suit?
that's why he was weak and he.
No, yeah, he wouldn't have lived. Like by what we know on Earth is what
This is
science
space
is.
we're talking about
Yeah.
here, another galaxy. So I
That's
think you
called
could
a
survive.
semantic, and if you're going to argue certain semantics and I can't argue them, and they're on the same basis, then they don't count, ma'am. But yeah, he pees in his suit and it gives him water. Think about that.
It keeps him
I don't
hydrated.
want to.
It keeps
But
him
he is
hydrated.
in that tank trying to get better. You know, so he is.
Or like soothing, like therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because could you imagine how it would feel like being all burnt up and you're like,
Well, he was screaming when they were taking off, the burnt pieces of clothing. He was screaming
Yeah,
because
that
it
stuff
was
was
like-
melted too.
Yeah.
yeah, it's leather. That was in there.
Oh.
That was
yeah,
like-
they had to peel it off. You know.
Yeah.
and if you look by like, I know it's edited, so we don't have a
The
sense
night
of
terrors
time.
Darth
but-
Vader must
Yeah.
must be insane. Those
Oh,
are
could
night
you
terrors.
That's why
imagine if-
That's why when he saw Obi-Wan on the Death Star, man, he's like,
Like even if he wanted to
Yeah.
remarry, he couldn't.
You.
you right now, me and you.
He would just beat any future spouses he would have inadvertently in his sleep. Like
Yeah.
like imagine that. Like
Well, who is he gonna
everybody
date?
be nice to Vader
Who
because
would want to date Darth Vader?
Well,
mean,
I mean, think about it. He's all
Sith
burned.
Lord
and,
ladies.
Well, okay, so we're talking about physical
Sith
stuff.
Lord
I mean,
ladies.
yuck! Everything's burned. Everything's burned.
He
guys.
technically,
everything is burned.
yeah. Well, not just
Everything's
everything is burned. He doesn't have that down there anymore.
How do you know?
Science, and I think it's in the lore too. I think it is in the lore
He
somewhere.
loses all his man parts.
He was burned alive, like, and not burned alive like Spawn lame
that was
burned
just his
alive.
legs, wasn't it?
Laza, he was
I
like
think
all
a
lavaed
lot of-
up.
I think other things were burned
Really?
too. Yes.
His whole, yeah. Oh no,
How are we
he-
even on this subject?
because it's
Get
8
us off
o'clock
the
at night.
subject, Andy.
Okay, I'll get us off the
It's not
subject.
10 o'clock.
I'll get us off the subject because I had something and then Andrew distracted me,
I'm sorry.
and it was so good, and I'm gonna keep talking until what was it?
We're running out of time.
It was about Darth Vader.
Keep
It was about Darth
going.
Vader, I
What, that
think.
he doesn't have man parts.
But it wasn't. It wasn't about the man parts, and it wasn't about him peeing in his suit, and it wasn't about him eating.
Okay, if he doesn't have man
Oh,
parts,
I
how's he
figured out.
pee in his
I figured-
suit?
I remember. So like Aaron said, he has night terrors, right? Or he could have like the worst night terrors. Could you imagine that? Like everybody on the Star Destroyer, we just can't be mean to Vader or ever hurt his feelings because of that one incident 4 years ago. Then there's a flashback, and it's like Vader had a bad day. Then he snaps 12,000
see
crew
what-
members next in his
Well, we
sleep
see
on
what
accident.
Kylo Ren does when he has a bad temper.
Well, no, I'm saying like inadvertently, like Darth
Yeah.
Vader's sleeping and he uncontrollably, inadvertently kills
But
half
let
of the
me
crew
back
because he
that
had a
up
bad
because you said he
day.
pees in his suit, but then you said he doesn't have man parts. So how do you pee in your suit?
You still have a bladder.
I mean,
There's
who-
these things called
who knows
catheters.
what those switches on his chest do? Who knows?
I'm gonna.
Who knows what those buttons are?
We're gonna
for?
have to get into the suit and see what exactly. Every
It's funny.
button
It does look
does.
like he has. It does look like he has a giant zipper on his girdle thing too, on his suit. His groin. What is that called? The groin protector thingy. It's not a girdle.
I don't know,
a
man.
nut cup?
That technically counts. What is it called?
A nut cup.
Yeah, it's a cup.
On his nut cup, he does have like a little door. It's kind of cool looking. I doubt that's what it's for. I think it's there just aesthetically.
A
But
door.
like, no, seriously,
A
look
door
at.
into horror.
I'm trying to remember. It's going to annoy me now if I don't remember what that thing's
Okay,
called.
keep thinking. All right, the Death Star. The first
It does
one
look like a
was
door.
75 miles wide. The second one was 99 miles wide. The super laser recharging time on the first one was 24 hours. The second one was 3 minutes. Didn't matter because they both got blown up.
Yes, they did.
So they
That
went to
thing
a
was able to
planet, and then
recharge
the
in
planet
three-
got
The Star
blown up.
Killer
Just
base
give it up.
named after the Star Killer. There's no way to prove that.
Well, there's a
Star
way to
Killer-
prove it. He doesn't exist in
oh.
the universe.
Okay.
But that's why they did name it. They named it that way for two reasons. Because Luke Skywalker was originally Luke Starkiller.
Uh huh.
So that's why they named Starkiller after that.
Okay.
And then that's why they named the base Starkiller
Right.
Base. It's like, so technically it's named after him.
Well,
but
it's
not.
the Death
Oh.
Star, so they wanted to keep on that same.
They should have just went Death Star
Slogan.
3.
No.
DS3.
Yes.
That is kind of funny how you
But the
think about
cost
it.
of it was
it's
$1
not a Death Star, it's a Star Killer
plus
Yeah.
galactic
Same
credits. No one's listening.
I'm listening. You said $1 trillion plus.
Yes, $1 trillion plus in the
Only $1 trillion?
$1 trillion plus of galactic credits.
There's actually a really
Now
cool
galactic
article I
credits are
can
the-
show
So
you.
why don't America? Why does
Well, no,
America
there's a
build
really
one?
cool. No, there's a really cool article online because it's way more than $1 trillion. An actual economist, like, calculated not crew costs, not laser science costs, like what we could build. So like like wood, metal, everything, like what it would cost to build the Death Star, and it was like astronomical.
Now,
and we don't even have enough resources on Earth to do it.
I talked to a friend of mine,
Yeah.
Joe Eric, and I told him, okay, so in the first, in A New Hope, they destroy a planet, and so they blow it up, and doesn't that mess up the planet rotation in that different?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
So it does.
I mean,
It
it
does.
does and it doesn't. Because it's variables.
so they blow up
Theoretically, it would.
they blow up Alderaan. So does it disturb the all of the planets around in,
Yeah.
in that?
Especially
It
with
would,
the
unless they
the
were-
after blast, that the wide
Right,
radius
right.
of that. Yeah.
So
I
it would mess
I
up all the rotation
I
of the
think
planets,
so.
and then in
even
the
radiation
Force
damage
Awakens.
probably. Maybe,
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Maybe.
The
But
other
in
thing
the
that
Force
would
Awakens,
change,
they blow
like-
out 5 planets, so that really destroys
Oh, yeah,
all
big
of
time.
that.
It's all,
Probably
but like it all
move
So
depends
the planets
on.
are all moving around in different places now. They're not all in the same. But
Unless they're far enough away, like if their orbit is way like
it still
larger,
would mess it up.
depends. It depends on what the like. It's all astrophysics. It depends on what the gravitational pull between these two planets are, how large they are as mass objects, how large the object they're orbiting is, how far away
Causing massive black holes.
they're, how far. But like no matter what, it's going to affect it. The more precise question is it noticeable to the inhabitants on the planet? So I think the Alderaan one, like I wish they had Star Wars solar systems complete, because I'm pretty sure the Alderaan one probably messed up every single planet in that. But like it couldn't have, because Alderaan could have been like, our distance between Earth and Mars. It could have been 20 of those distance between Alderaan and the next planet. Then that next planet doesn't matter. Like that planet's gonna be fine, at least on a.
They still go in
At
rotation, but it becomes
perception
I wonder
level.
if it becomes like a black hole kind of thing. It's a little.
That would be cool.
Little science.
That would be better than a Death Star if they just had a black hole maker.
Yeah, Death Star gets sucked
A
in there.
black hole?
Oh, we gotta
my-
start again.
Oh gosh.
Just do that.
So that Death Star gets sucked in. How are we gonna explain this one to the
I
Paladins?
just
They got
wrote-
sucked into the black hole.
Hello.
I just wrote the next Star Wars trilogy.
That's how fast the conversation.
End of episode 9, the First Order creates
They're like,
the
I'm gonna kill
black
everybody
hole
on
Star
that Death
Killer
Star
base.
that let it get into the black hole. They're all dead anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, they make a black hole weapon at the end of end of episode 9. They use it, and they're like, "Yeah, we destroy the Resistance." And then the First Order's like, "Oh no, we messed up, because out of the black hole from the other universe, no, from the other galaxy, because the universe is just one
Comes
thing.
Han Solo?
No,
alive?
comes the Yuuzhan Vong from the old Legends.
Yeah.
And then because Yuuzhan Vong are cool because all their technology is bioorganic. They don't believe in technology. So they have
Wow.
spaceships, but they're like living things.
Wow.
And their spaceships, all their armor and weapons, impervious to lightsabers. That's why they were one of the most dangerous adversaries ever.
So how do they die?
I don't remember. I really don't. But I'm very tired right now.
Okay, so we're gonna be shortening.
But we
this
should
up
do a
in minute.
Yuuzhan Vong
Yes,
episode one day.
we'll be going over that. Next week we're gonna be doing ships.
Ships.
Our 5 favorite ships. Yeah, like cars. Yours is a 1966 Camaro kind of thing, the Super Sport, or you like the Bumblebee, or somebody likes like the Prius, like myself.
We're talking about cars next week?
No, ships.
We're talking about chips.
We're talking about chips.
Yeah, chips next week.
Chips, not the motorcycle riders. No,
Chips from... Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Eric
I was going to
Estrada.
go off on an 80s television
Yeah,
tangent, but I
Eric
decided not to.
Estrada.
Yeah.
So my last fact, and then this will be it for our show. May 1st, 1977, the first public viewing, the preview screening of Star Wars takes place in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
world premiere.
Yeah, the very first time.
I have one more fun fact before we end.
What is that?
David is awesome.
All right, and with that, everybody.
She's just like, damn it, we need to shut this episode off now. This is gonna be one of my favorite episodes in retrospect. I'm not gonna lie. This episode was
No
great.
coffee,
really good
so
episode.
I'm talking crazy out of my mind here.
You're talking fine. You just messed up a couple words,
Really
and then
good- really good
we got
episode.
10 minutes out of content because of it.
And I don't know where things are, and I don't know how to pronounce things.
She has to drive me home too. Now I'm worried. I'm like, oh god, this isn't gonna go well.
So everyone, that's our show this day. It's potpourri.
This day?
On this day, may the 4th be with you. Revenge of the 5th, and what on the 25th?
Geek Pride Day.
Geek Pride Day. Woo, woo, woo.
I know as you guys are making holidays. I'm so above you. I'm celebrating this every day.
All right, I do. I celebrate it every day. And again, I will be back at Disneyland for their celebration of Star Wars
Yeah,
at Disney After
we're
Dark
represented well.
on
We're
the
represented
9th.
well.
So everybody, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.